We lost a comic giant this week. He made us laugh for over 50 years, from his start on the Gary Moore Show to McHale's Navy to his 11-year stint on the Carol Burnett Show, all the way to SpongeBob SquarePants. Tim Conway was a national treasure. I had the pleasure of interviewing Tim twice over the years, and we remained in contact. We spoke at length about his incredible body of work, the source of his comedy, and his faith. He passed away this week at the age of 85 after battling dementia. It was always such a joy each time we were together. Here are some of the best moments from my interviews with Tim Conway. Let's talk for a moment about your faith growing up. How important was it in your house? You weren't born Catholic.
No. I was born, my mother was Romanian, and so she was Greek Orthodox. My dad was Catholic, but he had left the church. He was an orphan and came over here when he was 16 by himself from Ireland. My mother came from Romania when she came over when she was 16. So they came over at a very young age, and religion was important to me because I learned about religion. I went to Sunday school, I went to things like that, but there was no formal stuff. When I was baptized, when I was young, my mother had a lot of problems with me before I was born, and a lot of, she could barely eat anything and all of that, and I had colic for 6 months after I was born, so I was a mess, and they, were annoyed with me, and I'm lucky I'm here. They gotta get him out of here. So when I was baptized, it was Greek Orthodox, and they put you on a little platform. The priest walks around, and they hold on to a praying cloth kind of thing, and they walk around, and everybody's just praying and everything. And since I was so old, because normally you're a couple weeks old, you're not going to go anywhere, but I was about 6 months before I was baptized. So as they're walking around, I had fallen off the platform, and nobody knew it because they're all praying. So everybody looks up, and the priest is going, and my dad goes, "He's risen," and the priest said, "No, he's fallen somewhere." Does anybody? So yeah, they looked around, finally found me, and I
flipped onto the floor.
I was under the thing. Yeah.
Oh my!
So I could have been still there,
So doing pratfalls from the very beginning, then.
Right away, I was into that. Yeah.
I love it.
No problem.
And then you go off to college. You're at Bowling Green State. You converted to Catholicism there.
Yes.
What was it? What was it? Was it
well,
one
I
motivation?
I always had a touch with religion. I don't think it's all mistake. Well, let's put up yellow drapes. No, I think somebody had some. So when Father Oliver was there, it was really like Bing Crosby and Barry Fitzgerald. This old priest couldn't believe that this young guy was doing the things he was doing, and we're very good friends. Did a lot of work with the Newman Club, and it's such a wonderful life to be with him and the 4 kids that surrounded him that were very good friends of his. And he'd drive like a maniac because he knows where he's going if he gets killed, but we're all going, oh my God. And so it just, I actually was thinking of becoming a priest. You would go to confession with Father Oliver on a Saturday, and you would hear the Notre Dame game on the radio in the confession.
On the other side of the screen.
Right. Yes, so how many sins and that thing, and then you so you could go in and say, Father, forgive me for I've sinned. I committed 4 murders last week, and I'm sorry, Father. Yeah, well, 2 Hail Marys. What? Because the radio was playing.
Was playing.
What's the score, Father? Oh, shut up. Get out of it.
So this was a way of cutting down on the penances then. Just ask about
one
the
Hail
game.
Mary. Yeah, get out of here.
You're interrupting the play here, Tim.
Yeah, right.
So Father Oliver then was a
big inspiration.
Decisive, really shaping force.
A guy loved life. And knew where he was going, and just it was wonderful. So
because you see, I have to say, one sees that with you throughout your career. And I've seen clips of you when you're very young, even to now. There is this joy, and it's an infectious joy that people catch onto, and children catch onto.
Yeah, well, I think there's a security in it. I can't imagine people who think that they're not going somewhere when this is over, as they say. But even if you aren't, it's a great way to go through life. Just believing that that's. I've always been. Wanted to be kind and gentle to people, and I think it's paid off. I wasn't looking for monetary reasons, but for an audience to enjoy what we do without the fear of nudity or language or anything like that. Of course, around my house there is, but certainly not on the air. And violence, a lot of violence.
A lot of
Oh,
violence.
boy,
Okay, we
geez.
won't get into
Yeah,
that.
no, no, no.
Please.
That's-
You worked at a TV station in Cleveland.
Yes.
In your really very near your home.
Mm-hmm.
You were doing. I came across some people on a book tour not long ago who actually remembered you from
Oh,
this
really?
station.
Oh, yeah?
You had a comedy. It was a comedy
Well,
duo. Yes.
I came out of the Army. I'd spent 2 years in defending Seattle, and as you know, we were not attacked.
They're not attacked at all.
There you go.
Make note of that.
And I came back to Cleveland, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I wasn't really looking to become an entertainer. I was looking to be a jockey, as a matter of fact, because I weighed so little. My dad was training horses, so I was galloping them in Cleveland. And then this guy called from KYW in Cleveland, and he said, there's a guy leaving here. Why don't you come down and take his job? What is he? He's a comedy writer. I said, what? I don't. So he said, well, the guy he writes for isn't that funny, so it doesn't have to be hysterical. Just write some mild jokes. So Rosemary from the Dick Van Dyke Show happened to see that coming through, and she said, this is funny. I'm going to take this to Steve Allen. Steve, a couple of shows there, and boom, they called me for McHale's Navy.
What did you learn from him, from Steve Allen, working with that
Oh,
troupe?
what a guy.
Talk about an innovator in
Oh,
television.
gee, Steve would write 30, 40 songs a day, a couple of books, he's just politically inclined. He was unbelievable. And every word that he ever spoke was in order, sentences were perfect. He was comedically amazing. He was my idol. And of course, the guys on the show, Don Knotts, Louis Nye, Tom Post, and the Men on the Street, I just lived to see that show at night, and always had admired Don Knotts because he did kind of what I thought if I was ever going to be in the business, I would want to do that. This kind, gentle approach to people, to humor, to an audience, to satisfaction of what he was doing. So I had always admired him, and it was a great opportunity to finally meet him. And then, after we did, we worked together a lot. Disney and
You bet.
Yeah, I wrote
Well,
a couple
you
things.
said it's because of Don Knotts that I'm in this business.
Yeah.
What did you learn from him?
I think the gentleness and the relationship with an audience, that what an audience was really seeking was comedy, was a fun time. It didn't have to, you didn't have to have the words and the nudity and the violence and all that. He just, he could sit on a porch and just talk with Andy, and gosh, that's a wonderful life.
For 11 years, you go on,
Uh-huh.
and the whole country really falls in love with you on the Carol Burnett
Yes.
Show. 5 Emmys. Your work there, it's really iconic in television and hasn't been repeated. Why do you think people can't? Why was it never replicated? Why was that kind of the end of variety, kind of feel good?
Well, we can't seem to find anybody that would head up a show like that. You're never going to find a Carol Burnett. Carol was the most generous star I have ever met. Whatever we did on that show, if it was funny, you did it. It isn't like she would say, well, that's hysterical, I'll be doing that. She just said, go. Whatever you think is good, go.
Not a lot of rehearsal on the show.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. Well, with the old man, for instance, I was to play an old man at the end, and I'd come in and I'd talk to Carol on the couch and leave, and they had not seen the old man because I hadn't come up with anything yet. I'm just walking around, I thought, well, maybe I'll go be slow or whatever. And so the first time they saw it is when the door opened and out came this guy, and I was just supposed to walk to the couch, Well, I started walking. And I said, if this goes any longer, we're going to be here a couple of days, So I thought, and I'm kind of looking toward the booth to see if they're going to say, hey, enough of this.
Cut.
Let's kind of speed this up a little bit. They didn't, so that was the creation of the old man, and that continued after that. The Tudball of Mrs.
Mr.
Wiggins,
Tudball.
yeah.
Screamingly funny. Where did that come from? Was that someone you'd met? The Mrs. Wiggins, this whole thing. Where did you get that from?
Well, as I said, my godparents were Romanian, and that's kind of the way. I guess some of it is from that. You come down here to have this. You pass me that rice over here, and I guess that kind of is where the voice came from, and. The idea of the sketch, the first one that I only thought we were going to do one, and Bob Mackey was the one who really created Carol's character with the big butt on the,
Why are those sketches so timeless and don't leave people's memory?
Well, I think if you look at them closely, we are not entertaining, we're entertaining the audience, but we're not looking to see if they're being entertained. We're just dealing with each other. If they're laughing, that's fine.
When you look back at that time in television, right, and I just did it the other day, All in the Family, MASH, then the Carol Burnett Show. I mean, that was your Bob Newhart, and then the Carol Burnett Show.
Yeah.
That was your lead-in.
Right.
I mean, people talk about the golden age of television. Tim, you were the golden age of television, as far as I'm concerned.
We shut down a lot of stores on Saturday, that's for sure, because people wanted to stay home. And why not? And also in those days, when you had to watch television because we didn't have tape. So if you wanted to talk about the show the next day, you had to be there to see it so that you could say, boy, they were really. But it was such a community thing because your parents would. A lot of people say, that's the only time our parents ever talked to us is during the shows because, hey, that thing about the girl guy, and the rest of the time they're just going, go to bed.
Go to bed, get out of here.
Get out of here, yeah. Nowadays, I cannot watch television. It is so annoying and insulting on some of these shows, and especially with your children. You're in a row, and even if you want to go from, I'm going to go switch a couple of channels, there's always something that jumps up and there you go, oh boy, geez. So it's tough.
Very frustrating.
Yeah. It is. It really is. It's so stupid.
You and Harvey Korman had a wonderful. I mean, this was an Abbott and Costello relationship that you all had. It was classic comedy, and I think seeing you all I had the good fortune of seeing you all on the road, and now this is available, the Together Again tour. How long did you tour with this show?
8 years. Yeah.
Tell people about the show, and we'll show some clips of it.
Well, Harvey was, the reason he broke up so much, he's a very poor performer, and I kept telling him that, but I had his number. I mean, all I had to do was look at him, and he would fall out so long, And we had a close relationship. We still do. So we could refer to a lot of things just by looking, at each other. And of course, he went south on me quite a few times. But
on television and live.
I went to dinner last night, as a matter of fact, with Carol, and we were talking about those old days and, how easy it was to break Harvey up. He was supposed to be an old man who was sick one time, and I'm the old doctor going, and we're face to face like this, and I look at his nose, and it's not in the script or anything, which was another thing. I would write one thing and then never say it because I was writing the scripts, and he would never know where we were going, So I'm staring at his nose, and he goes, oh, what are you looking at? And I touch his nose and I go, is that loaded? So it didn't take much to have him go sideways.
To break him up. And then you go on the road. You took all of the great, really the classic moments from the Carol Burnett Show, the dentist sketch and the old man, and really brought them to life for people live. What was that like for you? What did you hear?
Well, again, with the dentist sketch, we seldom showed anything until they actually taped the show. I mean, if you had something you were saving, you saved it till they were taping the show because they didn't, you couldn't. In order to edit a show in those days, you had a razor blade, try to go down the middle, glue it together, and it would jump and everything. So they used to let a lot of stuff go.
They like to see live to tape.
So with Harvey, well, in the dentist sketch, I wrote the dentist sketch, and the last part of it with the Novocaine, I had never showed him. I didn't do that until we were actually taping it. And he said, this sketch really stinks. There's nothing funny about this. And I said, well, maybe when we get to the end, I got a little something. Geez, So he's sitting in the chair, and we get to the Novocaine, and so long. He just went totally south.
Pull your tooth out. Boy, this is going to hurt. Doctor, if it's going to hurt, please give me something to kill the pain. Yeah, okay, well, got some Novocaine right here. Just hold on a minute, Mel. Let's see how this works here. Okay, Novocaine. Here we are, Novocaine. Take a firm hold of the hypodermic needle. Right. There'll be a little bit of pain, and then numbness will set in.
Get right to it. So they said, it's That's great. Now let's try it one more time without you laughing. He said, "You think so? You sit out here."
You're trying to do it.
So I did something totally different in that one, which really confused him, and that was with the fly and all things. So it was, and Joe Hamilton, who was the producer of the show, Carol's husband, and Carol, they loved it. You know, just do whatever you think is funny, and away we go.
Well, it's an amazing moment, and to watch it live,
Yeah.
because you were still improvising and trying to break him up. It wasn't as it was on the show. You were doing your own. You were still making other parts of your body fall asleep, and he was still rolling.
Yeah.
But what was the reaction from people? What did you hear? Because I know there were a lot of families
that's
the
the
day
sketch.
we went.
Yeah, that really, you know, Joe, he got so many requests from dental schools, you know, because they wanted to show that. So you go to any college, and if you're in the dental part of the medical education in that school, they will show you that, because everybody plays that thing. And it really came from my dentist. You know, he was very young, and it was like a haircuts thing. You know, you could come in and have your teeth filled for nothing if he would let these guys work on you. So he had this Novocaine, and you know, he was pulling this guy's lip, and he went like this, and he went through the guy's cheek and into his thumb, which he didn't know. You know, and he goes, okay, that's whoa, you know. So from there, away we went.
You were off to the races.
Yeah.
Before we leave this whole topic of Carol Burnett and the Carol Burnett show and that whole experience, even Carol tried to do a Carol and Company in the 90s.
Right.
No,
there was certainly, we were
there.
the New York Yankees of comedy at the time, because everybody was so in tune with the other person. Nobody disliked somebody. We all loved each other. We couldn't wait to get there on Monday. When you came in, you knew the script right away. You couldn't wait to get to the wardrobe and you know, the makeup and everything. It was a wonderful one, and it's all attributed to Carol, because if you're the head man or the head woman, that's where it begins. And if you're annoying, that show is going to be annoying.
I was at this freak show one time, and I saw these Siamese elephants. Joined at the end of their trunks like that. And this trainer would make them stand up on their back feet like that, and they had their trunks stretched like that. Then this little monkey would come out. Walk out there and dance a merengue right out there. I kind of felt sorry for them. They couldn't go like the other elephants when they go. All they could do is just blow and go, Norkin.
But that sense of camaraderie, that sense of love that you all had, do you think that's missing from this town? I mean, I've been on a lot of film sets.
Yeah.
There is not that friendship, Jim.
I think the only one I've seen in many a year is Everybody Loves Raymond. I've seen them tape.
Thank you for saying so.
Yeah, right. Is it Ray or Ray?
Ray, but
Raymond,
either way.
It's such a wonderful camaraderie that cast has. I mean, it's pretty much like what we had. I mean, everybody really liked each other. The comedy writing was genius. I mean, it really was. And you know, I'm married to an Italian, so I know those people that they're talking about, you know. And it just, I watch it, you know, if it's on sometimes 5 or 6 times a night, I just sit there and let the whole thing go, you know.
And watch them.
Yeah.
No, they were great. They were fantastic.
The other stuff I just turn off, and it, you know, it's not that it's bad, it again is insulting.
Tell me about your hidden talent, which we learn about in this book, which is you are a tailor. And in a moment, we're going to show people just how accomplished you are.
Yes.
Where did this come from?
My mother was a seamstress, and sitting that long watching her sew, I kind of picked it up, and I would make clothes. You couldn't wear them out in public.
Now, is this your normal attire when in this room?
Yes, I come down here and relax. I have a bedspread made out of the same material, so I'm comfortable wherever it's on.
As I read this book, it is such a sunny, fun romp, really, through your life. There are great stories here, also a lot of insight into your personal life, your family, but it is a sunny portrait. What is the saddest moment in Tim Conway's life?
Wow.
Aside
boy.
from this interview. Please.
Well, this is pretty sad.
I know it.
I think like when my dog died, you know, those are sad moments. But no, my parents never smacked me or anything like that because I was a perfect child.
Well, that's what it is, sure.
Yeah. My mother actually said to my dad one time, he's done this, and she listed a whole bunch of things, and so my dad said, come here. So he went into my bedroom, and he took off his belt, and I thought, oh, boy.
Oh, here it comes.
So he started whacking the bed, and he said, you know, So I'm going, and my mother came out and said, well, you know, no, don't do that anymore. I said, I know.
So that's as bad as it got in the Conway household.
Oh, that's as bad as it got, yeah.
That's not too bad. Yeah. And it's been an amazing story. It's an amazing book. And what a life. What is the lesson that people should draw from Tim Conway's life and work?
Well, you're only here once, and you've got to enjoy it. I know it's tough at times because outside elements do make it rather restrictive, money and things of that nature, but enjoy it while you're here. It's such a pleasure to be involved with you.
Okay.
And this whole crew.
Invading your home. I know.
Yeah,
this
right.
is probably the high. In fact, you could write another book just about this experience, and I hope you will. Tim Conway, you are a constant joy to so many.
There's no question about it.
That's true. Certainly to our family and to so many others. So I thank you for that and for the interview.
Oh, thank you.
Such a kind, gentle man. And what a riot. His gift of laughter goes on. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the entire Conway family. May Tim Conway rest in peace.